This video is going to be a film study look at the old school element that the Baltimore Ravens offense brought to their wild card win over the Pittsburgh Steelers with a projection or question, can they continue to use this philosophy against the Buffalo Bills? If you don't know, the Bills major in a nickel defensive look. Taron Johnson is a spectacular hybrid nickel defender, slot corner, can walk into the box, be the third inside linebacker, if you will. I certainly wouldn't call him an inside linebacker, but he's very capable of everything they've asked him to do over the years. He's spent his entire career in Buffalo. They play out of a two-safety alignment. The Steelers were trying to match this jumbo 23 personnel group against the Ravens with their base defense at first. And I'll show you how that didn't work out, obviously, in the first half, but particularly on the third possession where the Ravens went into run first and run only mode, 13 consecutive run plays. I think one of those was a design pass play, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was a quarterback draw. In any case, are the Ravens going to be able to do this against a Buffalo defense that did get run over in Week 4 in Baltimore, but has been playing much better here recently, except for, obviously, their road loss against the Rams and then their road win against Detroit a couple of weeks later. Let's get to the film, and I think I'm going to show you 11 iterations of this formation and the 4-play sequence that the Ravens run out of it. So it's a jumbo personnel grouping, meaning you've got an eligible tight end up at the top side of the screen is Josh Jones. And then down to the bottom side of the screen, you've got two actual tight ends in Charlie Kolar and Isaiah Likely. This is the Ravens' first possession. It's the 2nd and 11 after a penalty. And so it's somewhat anomalous in that the first time we showed this, we showed the motion and went play action. It's a snag concept where Isaiah Likely does a really great job of making himself available, getting into the window of Lamar Jackson's throwing lane or throwing vision. Ricard out into the flats. Kolar running the corner. That's the smash element of it. And then Likely kind of a snag route, and he'll bring this back towards the top of the numbers, make himself available, if you will, for Lamar to find. Ends up being a 9-yard gain. End zone angle from the same play. It's a great job by Likely, number one. Number two, notice the alignment that you've got out of their base personnel. So, and I'm going to reference this a little bit once we get to their 6-2 look. Here's Hayward in a 4-eye. He's exceptional as a 4-eye. Benton is a 0 technique nose. Definitely a 4-eye there as well. The outside linebacker to the weak side is kind of screwed down into a 7 technique, if you will. We go play action the first time that we showed this jumbo 23 personnel group. I think that's important because it implanted in their minds, hey, we will throw the ball out of this. We're not just going 23 to run the ball the whole time. That created a 3rd and 2 on the first possession. Of course, we're able to convert it, go down and score to take a 7-0 lead. We're only focusing on this jumbo 23 group. And again, it's called wing eye closed. Even though we're offset with the fullback, we would still consider it an eye designation. Just ram to the right, lion to the left. Still in the second quarter, this is third possession, the Steelers are matching with their base defensive personnel. So 4 defensive backs on the field. You can see the structure there. And it's a reverse power concept. Now, some people call it counter, reverse power, whatever, who cares? It's a gap scheme whereby you're pulling, and in this time, instead of the pulling guard leading up to the frontside inside linebacker, the pulling guard is going to be the kick-out block, and the fullback who went in motion, he's going to lead up to the frontside inside linebacker. So you're just reversing the job responsibilities, and they do a great job. Henry takes this thing downhill, I think, for an 8-yard gain. End zone angle of the same play. And this is the pulling guard. It's going to be the kick-out block. After the motion by Ricard, he's going to peel back underneath of Lamar's reverse pivot, and he's going to kick out the frontside inside linebacker. Henry goes underneath of it. When I say reverse pivot by Lamar, what I mean is Lamar is opening to our right first, his left, and that matches up with Henry's counter step. Why? Because Ricard is motioning over to make it look like it's power over here. And so Henry's first step, Lamar opens this way. Henry's first step is in this direction as well, along with Ricard stepping to this side, makes it look like it's going to be power over here. So hence the reason why some people call it counter, and some people call it reverse power. It really doesn't matter. In any case, it's a gap scheme, gap run scheme. Great job by Charlie Kolar. Again, Henry hits it downhill. This is an 8-yard gain. Like I said, it's on our third possession, the possession where we had 13 run plays in a row. Still on that possession, this is a 4-play sequence. So what I mean by that is you've got power, you've got reverse power or the counter that I just showed you, the play action snag concept that the Ravens used the first time that you saw this in this video. And now here's the regular power on a short yardage situation, the very next play. So I just diagrammed out for you why Lamar was opening in the other direction, but now he's still reverse pivoting. So the play concept is the guard pulls and wraps. Ricard is going to kick out off the sail motion, but Lamar is opening clockwise off of it to then get on the midline and mesh up with Derrick Henry right there. Henry takes it downhill behind Falele, ends up getting the first down. It's and in fact, to this point on that drive, that third possession, that's our 6th run play in a row. At that point, you kind of have to know as a Steelers defender, hey, this is what's coming. Still in their base defensive look. D tackles and those 3 arrows, outside linebackers, those 2 circles, inside linebackers connected here, Roberts and Queen, adds up to 7, so you've got 4 defensive backs trying to get into a goal line look, not able to match numbers. Why? They just don't have enough bodies on the inside for this gap scheme, for the way that we're blocking it with a tight end to a 3-man surface on the weak side. And so what I mean by that is, here we've got a 3-man surface. Here we've got a 4-man surface, guard, tackle, tight end, and then the wing. That makes the 4th surface. So all we got to do is motion the fullback over, and we can create a 4-man blocking scheme there on the front side. They just don't have enough numbers to match up. Henry's able to get a conversion, like I said, on our 6th run play in a row. Still the same drive. We've actually just picked up a first down on an option keeper by Lamar, and so we've switched modes. And so what I mean by that is we were able to get a first down on an option keeper out of the shotgun, by the way. My apologies. And so then we go back into Jumbo 23. So it's important here, if you ask me, that we're forcing the Steelers defense, forcing the Steelers coaches to mix and match personnel groupings to sync up or line up with what we're putting out on the field. And you can see that there's an adjustment that they've made here. They've basically added a 4th body in here and subtracted one of their defensive backs. You can call it a 6-2 if you wish. 4 down linemen with their hands in the ground, 2 OLBs, 2 inside linebackers connected here. Reverse power or counter. And I want to point out something in terms of their alignment that's going to get exploited by the Ravens a couple of plays from now on this possession. So you've got this 7-eye or 7 or 6-eye technique by Cam Hayward. And he's really good at it. He's good at a 4-eye. I mean, even dating back to, I think it's like 2020, he's just dominating against tight ends. He's a defensive tackle mindset guy against the run. And you can see he just kind of pulls down Charlie Kolar, dominates the rep here. Ricard is reading this different than Henry. Ricard goes to the outside. Maybe Henry sees something happening there with Hayward winning against Kolar. I mean, you would expect him to win. And so he doesn't read it in the same manner, cuts it downhill, right into Patrick Queen, who is essentially unblocked. So here is the very next play. And again, reference the 7 technique or 6-eye for Hayward, inside shade of the tight end. He just was able to dominate that rep, but I think our coaches noticed the alignment. Now, when I saw us come out in Jumbo 23 here on 2nd and 7, I thought it was play action pass. And the Steelers were still matching with their goal line look. So 4 interior defensive linemen, 2 OLBs, 2 inside linebackers connected right there. And we go toss. So it's zone toss. So we're just stepping everybody to the side of the toss, to our left, the top side of our screen. And because Hayward's in that 7 technique, basically inside shade of the tight end, it's easier for him to get comboed by Stanley and Kolar. Now, Stanley kind of whiffs. I didn't think Stanley had exceptional looks here in this compressed space. It's the same play from the end zone angle. It's been all downhill so far, right? We got power, reverse power, or counter. And it seems like Monken is revealing a little bit of extra layers, one series or one possession at a time. So because of the alignment here, it makes it kind of easy for us to combo this because he's beat by alignment, meaning Kolar has him out leveraged. So all Kolar's got to do is get to the outside shoulder, let Stanley take him over. Now Stanley actually ends up kind of knocking Kolar forward into queen, but you can see the seam that's created. Why? Because Likely and Highsmith are battling. Kolar had a, I don't want to say easy, but by alignment, somewhat simple combo up to queen. Ricard is going to get to Highsmith and then the corner. Huge lane. Where did that lane occur? In between Highsmith and Hayward. By alignment, that is the gap that was open. They needed someone there, whether it was queen, a safety, or a corner. In this case, ended up being a 16-yard gain for Henry. Straight out of 1988. You see basically line up with a wing and a fullback, see how the end is playing you, and then that determines the play calls. If he's outside, let's kick him out. If he's inside shade, which is a 7 or a 6-eye, whatever people call it, then let's toss him. Like I said, it's an old school mentality. It was successful for the Ravens. Do we think it's going to be successful against the Bills? I don't know. I think the Bills early in the game are going to be really fired up to come downhill and play the run. I'll try to get out a film study preview Wednesday, which is a little early for previews that A, don't perform very well for Ravens games, and B, take a tremendous amount of effort to try to produce if you're talking about putting film out there. So if you want to see that, then watch it. But the Bills against the Lions earlier in the year, they were really fired up for the first quarter and a half to stop the run. Played about as well as they can play on defense, still gave up 40 points. Am I saying the Ravens are going to score 40 on the road in Buffalo in the divisional round? No way. No way at all. I'm saying expect the Bills' best punch in the first 10 to 12 minutes of the game. It's Todd Monken's job to show them looks like this one and then use something off of it to counter and basically let the Bills put themselves in a poor position. Reverse power or counter. This is still on that third possession. Henry just running through folks. Ricard on the kick-out block kind of gets upended a little bit by Highsmith. I didn't think Highsmith had a real huge impact in this game. Queen doing something magical to Falele to make him land on the ground. You get a great combo block by Jones here. And I think I have to mention this, that we have at least one offensive lineman who's been playing all year long that can't do this. So this is Jones on our right-hand side of the screen, the left-hand side of the offense. Again, notice the 7-eye or 7 or 6-eye, and now they've tightened the OLB up as a result of the toss play. Instead of him being outside of the wing, they've tightened him up a little bit to put him inside of the wing. And check out this combo by Jones to get to the backside inside linebacker. It's what makes this play happen. It's what makes this play spring free, I should say. Maybe we're still going to get a positive gain on it, but because of what Jones is able to do to Benton and then Roberts, that athleticism, that ability to adjust, and what I mean by that is while you're comboing here, have your eyes on the second level and have the athletic ability to adjust to that linebacker's path. So if Roberts, hopefully I know sometimes when I go slow-mo like this, it kind of jigs on you guys' screen, so my apologies. If Roberts had gone tight here, then Jones's job is just to keep on his path and try to seal on the outside shoulder, and Henry's going to hit it on that track there. That's not what happens. Roberts goes over the top, and so Jones has got to turn his hips and try to dig him out of there. Daniel Falele can't do that. And I understand that people don't like me saying that. It's reality. That's a really nice combo by Jones. That's probably the reason why he's there in the first place, is because he's got some athleticism to be able to do those things. Are the Bills going to be able to stop it? I would say they're not going to be able to stop it out of their nickel defense. They're a base nickel defense. I don't think they can stay in their base nickel defense and stop it consistently if that's what the Ravens are going to do. They're going to force the safeties to get involved, force the corners to get involved. I look for some type of play action early if we line up in that formation or that personnel group, probably to an Isaiah Likely or a Mark Andrews or something like that. Third quarter, the Steelers definitely came out fired up. This is our opening possession of the third quarter. Now, the fourth possession that ended the second quarter, which illustrates how amazing the Ravens offense is right now, how high a level they're playing at. We were all shotgun, typical NFL, high-level college football, 11 personnel stuff. Lamar executing with the pass game. Some run concepts, don't get me wrong, that were option-oriented. We've gone back in the third quarter here at a certain point, after picking up one first down, into old school mode. Jumbo 23, same personnel group, same formation that we've been using, and we go lead zone. So I love this concept back into the boundary to the side where Jones is lined up. So what I mean by that is, since you've got a 4 down linemen, 2 OLB look, 2 inside linebackers, they're trying to make it balanced, they being the Steelers. So we put Ricard on the midline now. That should be a little bit of a giveaway for you. We're not putting him on the midline to run him over here to the tight end wing side. If we were going to run him over to the tight end wing side, I think he would start here and motion to that side, help him get a little bit of a head of steam. I think Justice Hill reads this wrong. I think the fit should be inside of Jones's block against Herbig, and I'll give you the end zone angle so you can see it. Ends up being a short gain of 3 yards on the play. So here's what I mean. There's Jones. You can see the tight end, Herbig, is outside shade of him. I think the gap to hit as this develops is right here. You're welcome to let me know what you think in the comment section as you see it flow through a couple of times. Hill brings it back inside, and I think you've got a really nice job here by, I believe that's Falele and Rosengarten, getting to take over 99. Rosengarten with a little slight chip, but Falele's already taken a pretty good step to get there. I think the lane would have been right in this area here. You're welcome to let me know what you think in the comment section. Creates a 2nd and 3. Now, you do get a great effort by Justice Hill in the very next snap. 2nd and 7. Still that same drive, like I said, early third quarter. Complete loss here by Isaiah Likely. Not just a loss. Initially, Herbig just slaps him away, but a loss where he turns and looks back. You don't want to coach your players how to react to losses because you don't want them to lose in the first place. But you don't want to turn your back and look to see what the heck's happening. Go pick someone up. As a result of Likely losing Herbig, Ricard has to pick him up. And so Ricard has to pick him up. That leaves Justice Hill with an unblocked corner out here to deal with. Now, he does escape from him, and he turns this into a 5-yard gain with a great effort. My point is that Likely has been inconsistent with blocking here recently, pretty much throughout 2024. Sometimes very good, sometimes great, don't get me wrong. And sometimes we get absolute losses like that one at the point of attack that really disrupts or destroys the flow of the play. This is zone toss, so everybody's just trying to get to the outside shoulder, to the flow side. Rosengarten has helped seal. Falele and Linderbaum take guys over. Like I said, wonderful effort by Justice Hill to just squeeze 5 yards out of it and set up a 3rd and 2. Same formation, same personnel grouping, in fact, except now we bring in Derrick Henry. I thought this was quarterback boot as we lined up. I don't know about you. I like to mentally try to anticipate the plays. Okay, what do I think they're set up for? We've run the power. We've run the counter or the reverse power. We've run the toss. I thought to myself, this is boot. This is boot with Lamar, and Lamar's going to be one-on-one out here with this guy in a short yardage situation. Again, I thought it was to the field. I thought that's what we were going to get. Instead, and I'm not saying it's a mistake by Monken, I'm just saying that's what my instincts told me that we were going to get. Stanley kind of falls down. 50 runs through, gets a tackle for loss. The game was almost over. I think 1 first down, maybe 2 more, and the game is pretty much over. So we lose right here with Stanley. Also, 56 is really tightened up here on the backside tight end, and they've walked 28 up. I guess he's a DB, but they've walked him up as a pseudo outside linebacker, edge defender. And because of Ricard, because they know that that's where the ball is going to go, that's why 92 is swimming here. 92 knows the job for Stanley. Why? Because Ricard skips over. So here's how I know this. Look at this guy right here. If it's going to be a gap scheme coming back to him. What he's trying to do is he's trying to swim outside of the potential down block of Kolar. Now, that's not the play design here, but I'm showing you that that guy and this guy right here are doing the same thing because they think that it's a gap scheme, and they are correct, and they're trying to swim across the down block that has them out leveraged. And so what I mean by out leveraged is if it's a kick out block here by Ricard, the play side is to the right side of the Steelers defense, then this is the down block that Stanley has on 92 that has him out leveraged. If, as Ricard motions through, if it's reverse power or counter, whatever you want to call it, then Kolar has him out leveraged in the same way. Hopefully I explain that in a way that makes sense so you can see it. And that's why both of these guys are trying to swim to the outside. He's trying to swim to the outside, but halfway through, he recognizes that it's not a down block. Watch his hands. 99 I'm talking about. He's doing the same thing that 92 is doing. 92 disrupts it because Falele, I think, needed to be tighter, but 92 is going to be there to make the play either way. I think that this is not reverse power. This is just regular power. And so I think Falele's got to be a little bit tighter, but in any case, 50 ends up being totally unblocked. We can't combo up to him. Steelers get a big stop. Missed opportunity. I think the game was pretty much almost over. At that point from a Ravens perspective. I do have a couple of more iterations of 23. Jumbo 23. Ravens tried to get a little bit tricky late in the game. So this is late in the fourth quarter. This is the last drive of the game, in fact. We're up 28-14. Remember, the defense got a stop. Darius Washington nearly picked the ball off in the end zone. We had a couple of failed iterations out of Jumbo 23 earlier in the game. This is a 3rd and 1. And notice Derrick Henry is spot shadowed here at the bottom side of the screen. He's a wing now. And how have the Steelers responded? Pretty much the same exact group. 4 down linemen, outside linebacker, corner. I guess this is a corner / DB. I don't pretend to know what he is. And then 2 inside linebackers connected by that line there. The difference is we've gone unbalanced shotgun double wing. We've even gone further old school than the wing eye closed that I've been showing you pretty much throughout this video. This is like straight out of like 1955 or 1962. It's quarterback, and he's getting the ball. You know it. We know it. And you just got to stop it on a 3rd and 1. It looks like McCarry's got a long way to go. Why? Because there's an extra hat up here. Guard, tackle, that's Stanley. And then the cool thing is that's Ben Cleveland. So we've gone jumbo again, the 6th offensive lineman who's eligible, except it's not Jones. So it looks to me like as they practiced this week, Jones was the guy to practice in that wing eye closed out of Jumbo 23, and then Cleveland was the guy to practice as the Jumbo, the 6th offensive lineman or 3rd tight end, if you will, out of this unbalanced double wing look here. Check out the backside of this formation. You got McCarry, Kolar, and Henry. I mean, come on. You knew we're not running there. I'm not sure what Minkah Fitzpatrick has seen. But in any case, Lamar with a great read. And look, if it weren't for the fullback inserting, we've got problems here on the front side. Do you know why? Because the Steelers understand what Ricard here means and an unbalanced offensive line to the right means. So they're going to, guess what? Since Cleveland has got him out-leveraged, 99 knows it's a down block. He's going to do the same thing, swim to the outside. That line doesn't give a great indication of the path that he's taking. But the point is it's a technique because they understand the steps the offensive lineman is going to take, and so they can defeat that scheme. Now, 99 gets blown out of here by Ricard, and then Cleveland stays on it. Lamar gets a 5-yard gain that converts and basically gives us a great opportunity to finish the game, which we're able to go down and do. That swim move is because we've got Ricard on the field, and the defensive tackles, defensive ends, whatever you want to call them from a positional standpoint, they know the block they're getting ready to get from the offensive lineman who's got them out leveraged. Let me know if I explain that in a way that makes sense for you. If it did not, I'll attempt to do so in the comment section once the video posts up. A different version, but this one's 22 personnel. So basically we've taken the 3rd tight end off the field, 3rd tight end / 6th offensive lineman off the field and replaced them with 1 wide receiver. It's Aguilar. It's a 2nd and 7 out of 22 personnel. And the Steelers have matched this in a pretty cool manner. They've put 3 inside linebackers on the field with 3 down linemen, 1 outside linebacker to their left, one outside linebacker to the right. It's a 5-3 look, if you will. Ricard in that sail motion play action really gets one of their inside linebackers to bite. Queen doesn't bite on it. Of course, he wasn't really very active anyway. Andrews across the field almost gets the first down anyway. And then we have a penalty that awards us the first down. I think it's a hold on Joey Porter Jr. trying to defend Likely. There's the three inside linebackers. So what are the Bills going to do against the different iterations of old school philosophy we have? And so what I mean by that is we got Ricard and Henry, 2 running backs. Likely and Kolar, 2 tight ends. So this is just regular 22 personnel. We're going to have Jumbo 22. We're going to have Jumbo 23. We're going to have Jumbo 23 where Cleveland comes on instead of Jones, and probably some iterations off of those concepts. And my point is the Bills are a base nickel defense. They don't like to match. They like to play their nickel no matter what. 4 down linemen, 2 inside linebackers. Taron Johnson, the nickel, slot corner, star, whatever you want to call him, very versatile player, good in coverage. One of their better man-to-man coverage guys, if you ask me. He's generally covering in the slot. They don't like to match like the Steelers just did, and that's kind of the reason for this video. Not to the point yet where I can give you guys anything that is definitive about the Bills' defense, other than they're playing a whole lot better than they did earlier in the season. I've got film that's categorized and labeled now on, let's see, against the Chiefs, against the Rams, against the Ravens from Week 4, against the Lions from, I believe, Week 15, and then their game on the road against the Patriots, a 24-21 win. I've got 5 games information to try to categorize and summarize. So I'm just not there yet to be able to put something out that makes summary judgments or evaluations about their defense and how they'll match and what they'll do against some of the things that the Ravens do. I'm focusing this video on what the Ravens did against the Steelers with an eye forward on late Tuesday night or Wednesday morning when I can start to get stuff like that out. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. I understand that the conversation you guys are hearing on radio, social media, and TV is already forward on the Bills and the Ravens. I ask you this. How many of those evaluations or statements that you're watching are showing you film? People like Cole Jackson, Huddle It Up Films, Coach Evans at Sip to Tally, myself, we're going to try to show you film of those things. So I feel like Ravens fans are a little bit forward of what the film study guys are trying to do. It's extremely difficult as a one-person gig to try to get film categorized and organized in a manner that allows us to present you a complete look, or as complete a look as we can possibly give you. Hopefully all that makes sense. Still on that same last drive here, and we go toss. The reason why I included this play is watch how Likely adjusts here. Remember he lost against Herbig earlier? This is the same matchup. Now, that's point number 1 on this. Point number 2 is Kolar and Rosengarten do a great job with their combo on this toss. Likely does as well. Watch Likely's feet. Tap, tap, tap. Real patient. Not allowing Herbig to do the same thing and just slap him to the side. Essentially, Likely is trying to hit a single or a double here, in my opinion. Since it's toss now, and Likely's done a way better job on Herbig, now Ricard doesn't have to worry about Herbig. Now Ricard can go get this corner who's a little bit off screen for you guys. And what's that allow Henry to do? I mean, come on, make his cut off of there. It's ridiculous. If we can get if we can get Henry to be able to make his cut, first cut, at or near the line of scrimmage, we're in a great situation. Horizontal flow against this Bills defense, I think, is going to be important. Last play that I'll show you. We bring Hill in the game. It's the very next snap after that one. 2nd and 1. Game on the line with a 14-point lead, meaning we get a couple of first downs. We know the game is over. At least one more first down. We know we're in field goal range and can put it away. And Hill makes a little bit of a different cut on this lead. It's essentially the same cut, I think, as the one he made earlier on the lead zone behind Ricard. So he just looks like a guy who's not necessarily willing to follow Ricard. But watch what they do here. Watch Hayward in this 4-eye and this D-tackle Benton. They go in opposite directions. They really kind of part the Red Sea, if you will, and open up that gap. Linderbaum is like, what just happened? And he's hoping that Falele takes over Benton, but Falele does not. Now, whether you want to make a grand statement about that, whatever, Falele's not expecting, neither is Linderbaum for that matter, 95 to try to cross his face, meaning to step in that direction. Since he does, for a moment, you can see Linderbaum's processing. That he's like, oh, okay, Falele will take him over. I'll move up to the next guy. We're just not able to get it done there. Falele's steps, I think, are pretty much hard-coded. And again, when guys slant or stunt in a manner that we weren't expecting, that's when guys like Falele and Macari have more issues. What do I expect the Bills to do against these heavy personnel groups? I expect them to slant and stunt. I expect them to bring people down from an outside alignment or inside alignment. Guys, I expect them to step those guys out, and safeties to fill downhill right now. I think that could serve them well in the first 8 to 10 minutes, maybe 10 to 12 minutes against these heavier personnel groupings, with one caveat. When you slant and you stunt, if the offensive linemen are able to pick that up and someone get to the second level, Henry could be gone. I do think we're going to be in jumbo personnel, maybe not early. My suspicion is the Monken might hold on to it for our second possession, or maybe even in the second quarter, meaning he may have some other specific plan to attack Buffalo's nickel defense that isn't the same exact look that we just gave the Steelers. However, from an equation standpoint, it does look like this jumbo 23 group could have been installed this week against the Steelers to give the Bills and or the Chiefs something else to prepare for. We only showed 5 plays out of it with the lead zone concept to Justice Hill. And I don't think we ran that to Derrick Henry at all in this game. I wonder how the Bills are going to match up with it. They've certainly made their decisions from a coaching staff standpoint at this time as I record it on Tuesday morning. If you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comment section. Tried to focus it on a very unique personnel grouping, formation, and offensive attack, at least, for this level of football with the NFL. How often do you see people do that so many times? And how often, do you see people run the ball 12, 13 times on the same possession in a row, really making a statement against the Steelers defense? And it was proven true. They cannot stop the run against us in 2024. The last 2 games absolutely obliterated them from a run perspective. Can that continue against the Bills? Not to that degree. I don't think that we're going to be able to get to 220, 225 against the Bills. They're going to be extremely fired up, I think, in the first quarter of the game, maybe the first quarter and a half, to stop the run. Nothing would surprise me if we were to come out and Derrick Henry or Lamar able to bust a big run. They're just that talented. You're talking about 2 Hall of Fame guys in the same backfield together. It's incredibly remarkable to have that kind of talent standing next to each other, or Henry operating behind Lamar in the eye or the pistol. I appreciate you guys' time, man. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comment section, number 1. Number 2, if you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this film study look, albeit one that's, I guess, too far back for some, by looking at our game Saturday against the Steelers, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.